Welcome back. It's a brand new episode of Pop Kannon. This is episode 72. We are your hosts. My name is Jordan.
I'm Robert.
And I'm Joe.
Today we are discussing 24, the very first episode. It's an S1E1. Robert, you want to tell everyone listening and or watching at home what an S1E1 is?
So basically, when we created this version of the podcast, we decided to take a show that was beloved by at least one of us and has been seen in its entirety, and that the others of us have never seen, or maybe have seen some but not all, and get our raw reactions versus a dedicated fan who's desperately trying to convince us to watch it. And we just kind of discuss how you would when you're trying to tell a friend, hey, I've seen this entire show and you should watch it too.
Yeah, well, if you're here, you obviously have a taste for the finer things in life. So why don't you join us? We're here every other week. We're talking about the latest releases. And as this week, we're talking about our old favorites. So go ahead and give us a like, a subscribe, give us a review. Let us know what you thought about this episode. We'll go over all of our groups later so you can join our conversations. Just hang out and become part of the Pop Kannon family.
But yeah, like I said before, we are discussing the very first episode of 24, starring Kiefer Sutherland, all the way back in November of 2001. So this show is actually conceptualized pre 9/11, which is crazy to actually put into perspective.
It got delayed because of 9/11.
It did.
And they cut out a certain scene of a certain airplane certainly exploding.
Yeah. Somehow, some way, though, the show is only delayed 1 month post-release.
Everybody forgot about it by then, right?
Well, we were all gung-ho America at that point.
Dude, my mind is blown at the release of that.
Yeah, dude. It's crazy.
Completely blown, because I'm watching this and the whole time I'm going, wow, this is a love letter to the Patriot Act if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
And here, rather than what I thought, it was life imitating art rather than art imitating life. Amazing that Kiefer Sutherland as Jack Bauer had the influence on literal American geopolitical stances going forward forever. So that's interesting.
But like I said, this show, incredibly popular. I remember I didn't watch it until it was further into its popularity. So like season 5, season 6, I think is when I picked it up. But I remember riding the school bus to high school and listening on the radio every morning. They would do a 24 recap once a week. Where they would recap the previous night's episode in 24 seconds or something like that.
Magical days before podcasts.
Yeah. So I wound up really enjoying 24. And I honestly, after rewatching the first season very recently, I've noticed a lot of my filmmaking and writing style is influenced by this show. The way I shoot scenes and stuff, the handheld cameras,
that was
the natural lighting.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I've been a fan of 24.
Jordan's the homer for the show, if that wasn't apparent yet.
So Joe, what were your initial thoughts on 24, the first episode, having never seen it before?
I kind of hated most of it. It's got that dying breath of the 90s vibe to it, just like everything from like the soul patch to like the
all
the vibes of everything, the teen fashions and lingo, just like really fucking stabbed me right in the gut. And it was interesting after the fact to learn about that, like the 9/11 delay and everything, because one, like, I mean, I was 9, so like I had never heard the word terrorism before 9/11 anyway, even though
Right.
like I know it was like a concept going back. But like the fact that like a counterterrorism unit was like even like in the public eye. But I wonder if this show would have been as successful if not for 9/11 and like people riding that wave of like fear.
Yeah.
No,
that, like,
absolutely.
really, like drove this show. It was just like a really weird kind of thing looking back. And like Jack Bauer, like I read like a thing that like Kiefer Sutherland really liked like Jack Bauer's gray morality, which like gray morality would be fine if Jack Bauer wasn't like telling you that he was such like a Boy Scout about everything. He like has the little like speech about like those guys compromised once, and I'm like 5 minutes ago you illegally hacked your daughter's email account. So like what are we really talking about here?
But she could have been in danger, Joe.
She obviously is in danger, but like I don't know. Yeah, and like the whole like a hate group hiring a hitman from out of country. I'm like, that's not really how hate groups work, but like I guess we're a lot more familiar with our hate groups today.
True. Very true.
Yeah, which like that kind of brings up the fact that like I'm very much looking at this through a 2022 eye, a show that came out 21 years ago now. And I don't know, like the gimmick is kind of fun, and but it kind of makes me more excited to see how it like gets fucked up along the way. But I don't know that I'll watch any more to find out more about it. Yezi, what did you think about it?
So it's weird.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely hard, I think, especially just maybe it's just the pilot, but like you had said, the aesthetic of the episode is very Ally McBeal, I guess is a name that I could throw out there.
It is, and it's jarring if you're not like in it.
Yeah. It's strange to see stuff lit and look like that, and people wearing what they're wearing, and that woman's hairstyle in his office that I just like the whole time I was like, holy shit, she just wore that out.
But that was like the style back then.
No, for sure.
Wait,
like,
which one? The hacker or the mistress?
His office wife.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, just
That's Nina.
I feel like it's a really strange episode, and I'm sure there are much better, more tension and gripping episodes with the format that they give you.
They are.
But this is definitely not that episode. But I don't think necessarily that it was bad. It being the first episode, I feel like they really opened up, like, I think it was 5 squares at the end of it, like 5 open threads that you're going to obviously pursue going forward. And I don't think I've ever really seen a first episode do that. Mm-hmm. Sometimes pilots kind of try to tell a full story just in case they don't get to tell any more of it. And this was definitely like, fuck that. We've got it. We know we do. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it was necessarily bad. I definitely, especially considering I was going to assume 2003 was going to be my guess.
They finished the final cut of the first pilot April 24th, 2001.
Wow.
So they had it locked in, but then they had to edit it and remove the scene of the plane exploding.
So I'm assuming the plane explodes in New York City, or is it just the fact that the plane exploded that people were like, oh, fuck?
It exploded on screen, and like you just see it off screen, and it was like over the desert.
Okay.
Because she's on her way to LA.
They said that.
So,
yeah. No, I was like, but yeah, there's certain threads in this episode that are really strange. Like the whole thing with the plane was like a lot of time spent on that for whatever reason.
A lot of red herrings too.
This show is notorious for red herrings.
I don't know, I feel like the most awkward part of this episode was literally when Jack went down and grabbed that dart gun and then shot that dude in his office and let him sleep for at least 40 minutes.
You could go to jail, Jack. Not if I'm right.
that's like just like I feel like when the writers wrote that, they were like, that's gonna be the most gangsterish shit that's ever happened, son. And it's just like now it just seems like a dude that's like really overstepping all of his boundaries.
You know, you just keep a trank dart in the office.
Just in case you need to negotiate.
What if a bear gets in here? You don't know.
Well, they have a whole weapons closet that he walked over to at that
but
point.
it's not fucking GoldenEye.
It might be Joe.
He literally like was standing there and the weapon was coming up and he would scroll. That's when he'd scroll.
Yeah, I'll call the CIA and be like, do you guys have tranquilizer guns? And they're like, yeah, standard issue. Where do you live?
There's
Where
one
do
in
you
your
live?
house.
Overall, what did you guys think about Jack Bauer? I know, Joe, you mentioned you thought he was kind of...
It's kind of a fucker.
To put it plainly.
His daughter, like, he knows his daughter's gone. The first thing he does is, I better read her diary.
That was her planner.
How much of my daughter's privacy can I invade in 1 hour?
That was her planner.
Her planner, whatever. Her plan was go to party with a boy.
He doesn't know.
I don't think Jack's necessary. I think obviously he's a good character because he carries the show and shit gets really serious later on. But yeah, in this episode he's like dealing with a lot. And some of it like not necessarily timed perfectly well for him. Like,
no,
he keeps taking personal calls in the middle of like an assassination attempt on a senator that's running for president. I feel like that would be like a no-go. But yeah, he's just like he's just such like the savior. Like that's what I feel like. Yeah. He just is like everything he's gonna say is right. And he's never going to have a wrong intention. And at the end, everybody's going to be like, man, that Jack Bauer, he's skating on thin ice, but God damn it, does he get the job done?
I like Jack a lot as a character. He's a very complex character, and he doesn't really get to show off in this episode. But there are several episodes in the first season alone that Kiefer Sutherland like puts on a fucking performance.
Cool.
And like knocks it out of the park. And I believe he won an Emmy or a Golden Globe or something like that for his performance in season 1.
Wow.
But just getting into some other characters, Robert, you mentioned the senator, David Palmer. What were you guys' thoughts on the Allstate guy?
The Allstate guy?
Well,
Dennis Haysbert.
I definitely feel like we're in good hands.
Oh, God.
I would vote for him as president. Although, why does his wife want him dead? And
that wasn't his wife. That was his assistant. And it was a red herring because that guy was actually a photographer. He was just weird. And now he's dead.
Oh, okay.
She was like his campaign manager.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She was the one that came in when he was talking to his wife. And was
Got
like,
it. Okay.
There's a call for you. And he's just like, fuck you. And then his wife's like, who is that? And he's like, fuck you too.
Okay. I thought it was his wife that was on the phone at first. And I was like, why is this bitch selling him out? What the fuck? I was real confused. Okay. No, that makes a little bit more sense. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm interested in what happens to him going forward, just to see if like he does get assassinated.
Yeah.
Or if he becomes president, right? That's the two tracks.
But if he got assassinated, it would tear this country apart.
Well, this is just the primary.
Yeah,
it's the California primary.
The day of the California presidential primary.
But he's got a shot.
And he's got a shot.
Yeah. Or does he have a shot?
Oh. Like a photo shot.
Wait a minute.
But he didn't shoot Princess Diana.
Yeah, dude, I was so confused by all of the plane stuff, basically.
Because they wanted you to think that he was the assassin.
Yeah, but also like,
he was like, yeah, I met Princess Diana, but I didn't shoot her because that's not how she died.
That dude might as well have been twisting a overlong mustache over a train track. Like, that's how cartoonish.
Well, that's what they wanted you
But
to
it's
think,
that's what they wanted you to think. He's just like a smug photographer.
Yeah.
So like, it's so fun watching, knowing that he's just like a red herring the whole time.
Yeah.
And knowing that she's just there for him.
Then he says that he did Munich too, and you're like, "Oh man, there was a terrorist attack in Munich."
This photographer who keeps finding himself in the wake of tragedy. He's like, "Oh,
that's the bigger story, Jack Bauer."
It's so like gross though to like look back and be like, she just fucked that guy and then killed him. Like, what the fuck? But I'm
and everyone else,
right? I'm guessing she stole his ID to like go in his place as the photographer, even though the assistant had already talked to him on the phone. So I don't know what her explanation is going to be. I don't know how she got on the plane to hide a bomb in the fire extinguisher. But
that's standard issue.
Yeah,
that's every plane has an actual bomb
somewhere on it.
It's funny though, because the producers worked with a former FBI or CIA agent.
Yeah.
To like figure out how they would get a bomb onto a plane and stuff, and it's from failed attempts. People actually tried using that stuff.
Like somebody put a bomb in a fucking fire extinguisher and tried to get it on the plane.
Yeah, and they caught him.
He probably got a job as a fucking service boy or some shit and got himself into the plane somehow.
I will say though, like the overall plot of the first season, because it is one full day, it is a very interesting and complex plot that I think works. Like looking at it as a whole.
Yeah.
So like,
is the first season like a week or something?
No, the first season is 1 day.
1 day. Now then, are the next seasons consecutive, or is there like time between?
There's time between, and they don't necessarily all follow this format exactly.
Right. Okay.
Every episode is 1 day.
No,
right?
every episode is 1 hour
of 1 day.
The whole season,
So
how did you not know this
will be 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. and he does not sleep. As far as I know.
All of that in this episode happened in 1 hour.
Yeah, where the fuck
it's in real time.
You know,
events occur in real time. That's
they
why
said
he's
it
like
out loud when the title card came out. They said the following events.
No, yeah. No, I heard it. I'm just like thinking about all of the shit that happened in the episode and feeling like how impossible that is for all of that to happen in 1 hour.
Yeah.
It's like ridiculous.
But like, that's the gimmick.
It's television, baby.
I think the thing that confused me the most is like they were like everything that you're about to see takes place in real time, and then they jump cut from one time zone to a different time zone and then came back, and I was like, well, that doesn't help me fucking center where the fuck we are.
When did they go to a different time zone?
At the
just
very
right
beginning.
in the cold open. It was right in the cold open.
It was like 4 a.m. in Kuala Lumpur or wherever the fuck they went. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, because it was like they had an undercover agent like radio back to CTU basically, and tipping everyone off to the start of this whole thing.
He called his wife 5 times in 1 fucking hour.
Their daughter's missing.
Oh, 3 of the phone calls took place while his wife was just aimlessly fucking walking around their house after their daughter was missing. She's like fucking cutting her toenails or some shit. Like, get the fuck out there and look for her. You certainly don't seem fucking concerned.
Well, she snuck out.
Yeah.
So.
And everybody was like super chipper about being up way later than any other adult human is ever fucking comfortable being awake. By the way, all those people are well past their 30s. None of them have any reason. And the senator's assistant girl comes in. She goes, "Can I get you coffee?" I'm like, "Bitch, it's 1 o'clock in the morning."
He's got to write his speech. He's pulling an all-nighter. Everyone's pulling an all-nighter.
Literally. After a certain point, they started doing recap promos like from week to week. And so like it would start off with a voiceover of Jack Bauer saying like, "My name is Jack Bauer and this is the longest day of my life."
Yeah.
That's the thing.
By the end of the season, did they start putting like bags under everybody's eyes in the makeup department?
Maybe. Basically, some of the characters look like shit by the end. So I will say, like, the attention
Is the,
to
last shot like him finally like going to sleep?
His head hits the pillow and then his alarm goes off.
It's like, what a day. His alarm clock is just that sound, like beep, beep.
That's so crazy.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, how did you not know that was like
No. I know that in my head, but like as I'm watching it and like the clock is counting down and shit like that. Honestly, I was using the clock to tell me how much longer I had in the episode. It was propelling me through
when I
it.
saw
I'm not
like
saying
12:52, I was like, thank fucking God.
No, see, I don't necessarily mean it like a bad thing.
Yeah.
I just was like, it was nice to have like a waypoint. Like no show ever tells you like it's almost over now. So it was nice to have.
You need like a Mario Kart lap counter on your shows.
77% complete. You're like, yes.
Well, what other interesting like moments happened in the episode for you guys? Did you find anything interesting or compelling?
I don't trust the friend's dad. He seems pretty sus. Just the way he said, "Tell me where you live." I'm like, what the fuck? This guy is like an enemy of Jack Bauer. He's trying to get you, lady.
I thought it was crazy that the daughter's friend would like fuck that dude.
It works in a furniture store, though.
They had full-blown sex and got out of there in the time that it took her mom to get off her fucking ass and go look for her.
Yeah, it must not have been very good sex.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, Jack did say to Terry at the start, like, "Oh, well, I should be back within the hour.
Yeah,
if she's not back by then, we'll go out and look for her."
Yeah.
Well, he said, "When I get home," like 3 times right off the bat in the episode. So I was like, oh, he's definitely not going home. That's for fucking sure.
Spoiler alert, Jack Bauer does not go home. There's bigger things at play here.
Oh, no. Yeah. It's just like dude with the briefcase that showed up like on command, basically. It felt like, which is even crazier that it was after midnight. That whole part of it was just so awkward. I feel like with that guy in his office,
the guy with the little black disc of like breaking into any computer or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, and then Nina coming in and out of the office.
George Mason.
Yeah, I felt like that whole sequence was just really strange. And I don't know if that was like the most effective way to like show what the show could do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
It's not.
Like it's clunky as fuck.
As a way to sell the show, if it weren't for the gimmick, I don't think that it was like a good enough hook.
Yeah.
I think personally.
No, I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that.
But I also feel like this is the type of show that like you kind of have to invest more than just like an hour in. Yeah. Because there's so much to it, and they have so many different threads going.
Yeah. No, and I think that's really fair. Because it doesn't seem like, I don't think that you get everything that the show is probably capable of in this episode. Yeah. There wasn't even like a real gunfight, you know what I mean? Like,
no. Well, it's because they're kind of handcuffed. It's like with that gimmick of like, well, there can't be a gunfight in every single episode.
Yeah. And he lives really close to work, by the way. Like,
he does.
Fucking really close. Yeah. He's like on the base. He just rolls out of the front door and he's there.
Also, if you're watching the show with commercials, it would eat up of that time.
That's when he shits.
Yeah, exactly. That's been a polarizing dispute.
I do remember hearing like at least one stand-up comedian talk about the show and just be like, what happens when Jack has, he's running late and he grabs some gas station sushi and he's just got to deal with food poisoning for like 3 hours. Like, that's not really compelling television. He's like on the phone, like, just give me a minute. And the fucking timer going off and he's just sweating.
Well, like as you said, I think it would have been good to have like a small victory in this pilot, just to have like something to kind of show like all aspects of the show instead of just like dip your toes. I kind of wish they gave us a taste of everything, not just
what they gave us a taste of.
Right.
Absolutely agree.
Because it's an action heavy show, right?
Yeah. It's like action thriller.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, the thriller part I feel like is pretty well executed, but the action part's just so undersold here. But they probably didn't have the money, considering it was a pilot, to really do a lot of shit.
And I think they probably spent a lot of their budget on that plane explosion and they had to cut it. Like, honestly, if you think about it, like,
was it an impressive looking plane explosion?
I've never seen it. I don't know.
Does it exist?
They probably have never released the footage of that.
It might be on like the DVDs.
Yeah,
like
my brother has the DVDs.
First episode that Fox doesn't want you to see.
Well, actually, they have a like an uncut version of the pilot where there's no commercials, so it's a full 60 minutes.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
I would be really interested to see that of a different episode, because I don't know if I want to spend this first hour again, but any other hour I feel like probably be really interesting to see, like, the full uncut, how they get from place to place with the time frame and trying to get all of that lined up around. And I keep doing that because I'm thinking of a clock in my fucking head. I'm thinking of like where the time slots would be. Like, we spend the time here, then he's driving, so we cut over to this shit and we get rid of that. Like, I think that would be pretty cool.
So, like, thinking about the writing, like, okay, well, while Jack is driving here, we need something happening.
Yeah.
Like, you're always trying to shuffle characters and, like, in and out of the focus. So you can't just have, like, an A and B arc. You need several different things to kind of occupy time, which I think is fascinating to do.
Yeah, so you don't have to show the boring shit.
Yeah.
Like, Jack forgets to put a K-cup in his Keurig. He's like, fuck. Now he's got to refill it with water and wait for it to heat up again.
Yeah. They're doing all the driving now in the middle of the night, because if they tried to go like during daylight hours in LA, they'd never get anywhere.
Oh yeah. Impossible. Impossible. What did you guys think about Kim, Jack's daughter? Yeah.
Kind of annoying.
Super fucking annoying.
I thought it was really funny that, like, she had like 3 joints in her room and she's running out of the house to go hang out with fucking 30-year-old men, essentially. The posters on her walls, like on her door, the first poster that I saw, like, she had posters of every kind of genre, right? But like, they're selling her as this like rebellious badass, and the first poster that's on her door is fucking Coldplay, and I just laughed. It's like, those punk motherfuckers in Coldplay.
I want to know what it is with these teenagers and candles. Like, she broke out of her room and left all these candles lit, and then he calls her ex-boyfriend. He's sitting there playing video games with his friends, but there's like 10 candles lit all around him. Like, these high school kids just really want to set the ambiance.
I think maybe they're trying to get rid of the smell of the weed.
It's possible.
Yezi texted us when he was watching it, when they finally hacked her email account and the password is "life sucks," one word. Lowercase, one word.
Amazing.
I fucking lost it.
And like, she has such like good moments in the first season, and then all of a sudden there's just a shitload of like, she's a fucking idiot sprinkled throughout. Like, you're like, oh good, I like Kim again, and then it's just like, no, she's fucking stupid. What are you doing?
And they did like an okay job of like half-heartedly telling me what's going on with the family, but I'm not really sure where everybody stands on it. Like, they tell us that she's like mad at the mom, even though the dad's the one that left, but he came back, but then she like says that her dad is dead later, and it's like, okay, I guess you're just mad at everybody now. Like I don't understand. I
just took her saying that her dad is dead as like a thing to say.
Yeah,
oh, really?
That's kind of what I assumed.
Her burying her dad to like that guy, because I don't think she was trying to tell him anything.
Well, she said 6 months ago, which was specifically, I think, when he came back, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
No, I think that's when he left.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then he just recently came back.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I don't understand how if he's coming back, she's got an issue with her mom.
Right.
They elaborate on it.
Okay.
And, like, that's what I mean with this show is, like, in rewatching the pilot and the pilot only, they really just kind of set shit up, and they're just like, well, that's it. That's
hope for the best.
Those are our threads. But they knew they had at least 13 episodes.
Yeah.
That they could tell a story in.
That's nice.
It's also very funny that the woman he's like maybe cheated on his wife with, or at least like slept with while they were separated, is just like a copy paste of his wife.
With crazier 2000s hair.
Yeah, just the same white lady.
Which is crazy because that's Sarah Clark who plays Nina. And they cast her the day of filming the pilot.
Really?
And wardrobe had to, like, they didn't have time to fit her for anything, so she's just wearing her own clothes for Nina's costume for this season.
Well, I'm glad she showed up in business casual at least.
Well, obviously she like knew, but
that's pretty crazy in like a very unprofessional way.
Yeah. So I don't know what happened. I don't know if like someone else was originally cast and like something happened. Like I don't know any details beyond
the original actress was on her way there and her plane exploded.
Robert, we can't say that. We're in a post 9/11 world.
Well, I'm talking about it happening before 9/11.
You can't say bomb on a plane.
I think, did that happen before 9/11?
I think it was pretty strongly discouraged before 9/11.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure Meet the Parents happened before 9/11. I think that was 2000.
But yeah, I was just going to say like the show itself was like surprisingly progressive for 2001 in my opinion.
Definitely.
They do some more things like throughout the first season that like constantly surprise me.
Does the show stay so progressive that it gets a female vice presidential candidate for the first time that nobody likes?
I don't know. Are we talking about Veep? What are we talking about?
No, Sarah Palin.
Oh.
Are we talking about Veep?
The show's like ahead of the curve. So like in 2006, the show was like, oh yeah, it's the first female vice president, but nobody likes her.
Yeah, I guess it was kind of progressive. I don't know. It was like a weird thing where they were like, it was like, check on Palmer, and his assistant's like, isn't that kind of racist? He's just like, he's a likely target, and it's like, all right, fine.
That doesn't make it any less racist.
Yeah.
We're suddenly investigating him before fucking primary.
And like talking about like progressive, like, and you said like Jack's kind of like a savior before, and like he's kind of like white saviory then, when it's just like he's the like thing that stands between this black man and death and this whole country and falling apart, and he's just like, I need to find my daughter.
Concurrently. He couldn't be like, hey hon, this is probably going to be something big. You might have to go look for her on your own.
Jack, somebody's going to get assassinated and you're the only one I can trust. And he goes, nah.
Are you sure it's just me?
Can you not ask literally anyone else? I'm having kind of a rough night.
My daughter's literally missing.
And I didn't like that they just like tell you like flat out like nobody trusts him instead of like showing nobody trusting him around. And like it's, you know, there's a lot to get through in a pilot, I get it, but also, as he said, you maybe didn't have to plant as many seeds in the first hour to have like a realistic amount of things happening in an hour.
we got A through like E threads,
Right.
you know, and I'm sure the season does that with all of them. Like you have to twist them up and then let them shake back out, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, there's just maybe not just do that many out the gate. Like you could set one of them to start in like the next episode so we could get a little bit more feel for any of the things specifically, as opposed to like being there for just enough time to be like, this is the lay of the land, and then move to the next thing.
I do think it's interesting, though, because it's not a traditional pilot and because the whole season takes place in one self-contained day.
Yeah.
They kind of move things along at like a pretty rapid pace, I feel like, throughout the season.
Payoff wise, like, are they just like hitting the next thing and then just moving on? Because it's only been a few hours. Like the stories that they're setting up, like obviously these 5, I'm assuming, wrap up at the end of the season, or mostly the stories that start in this episode are ended at the last episode. But are they like ending some of them mid-season and starting additional stories?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's stuff that'll wrap up and then they'll introduce new things.
Okay.
So it's interesting and it'll set things up in a weird way.
Going beyond that.
Yeah.
But then also, how was the viewership for the show? Did it pick up? Because I feel like joining this show mid-season would be an issue. And this is kind of in like, I guess, TiVo time and not necessarily everybody having a DVR yet. So probably a little bit more difficult, I feel like, to get people if you miss them from the beginning.
Yes and no, but I'd imagine that like the previously on kind of summed things up pretty well.
Yeah.
But viewership wise, like I know season 1 had like an average rating of like 8.6 million.
Wow.
And then after that, season 2 was like 11.7 million.
Yeah.
Season 3 was 10.3.
Okay.
How do you fucking know this right off the top?
He's reading it.
I'm reading it. I have it pulled up.
I thought you just had these stats memorized. I was like, wow, you really like 24, Jordan.
No. I did my research, Joe. I came prepped. Okay?
No, but I figured there would be a jump between season 1 and season 2 because that would all just be word of mouth.
Yeah.
Like that jump from 8 to, what was it, 11? That's like that many people telling another million or so people to watch it. And Fox,
like this blew up for them, like between this and American Idol.
Yeah.
Like they were rolling in it with viewership. And 24 was considered like a really good, successful show because even though some seasons they dropped in retention, like it didn't necessarily matter because there was still a strong overall viewership. Yeah. And it never went below.
Walking Dead did.
Like that first season, that was the lowest rated season, I believe.
How many seasons were there?
Total of 8, I believe.
24 seasons.
Yeah, there was 8.
Every season is 1 hour.
There was 8 seasons, and then they did like a shortened 6-episode mini-series a couple years ago. So,
and does the spinoff count? Or is that what you're talking about?
What?
No, they didn't. Actually, they had it was like a spinoff series called 24 Legacy. I'm not counting that.
With the dude that was in Walking Dead. One of the guys that was in Walking Dead was the guy.
Reedus?
I watched a little bit of that. I never finished it, though. It was all right. I wasn't compelled enough to keep going. Yeah.
But I feel like as far as the layout, or however you want to word that, of the show, I feel like it was pretty original, especially for the time. And like nobody could really bite that style without everybody being like, oh, you're just doing 24 thing. So they really like created a niche and then like blocked off the back of it because you can't really do that. You know, everybody's just going to be like, oh, you're fucking doing the 24 thing.
Yeah.
So I think that that's really cool. I don't quite understand why so many of the clips were in frames like I was reading a comic book.
I think just
just
to
a
show
split
you like
screen.
concurrent things.
Yeah, because things are happening simultaneously. So
Yeah.
Did they do that more than at the very end?
they do it like kind of throughout before they transition from one to the other. They kind of like pop in to show you like where another
Where
character might be
everything
at
is.
currently.
Meanwhile,
But
Yeah.
yeah,
I was just like, oh, it's that. You know, I don't know.
yeah, it's
I
just
didn't like it in that
it was
Hulk
probably
movie.
cooler in 2001.
Yeah. And that Hulk movie came out after this, right? So they
God.
stole that from this.
Yeah.
They did the 24
Ang Lee
thing.
was like 24. You like 24?
Yeah, I like the real time aspect of the show quite a bit.
It's definitely interesting. It's definitely interesting.
Yeah, it's a fun idea.
Because I think although it puts restrictions and limitations on like what you can do, I think it also opens up a breadth of fresh opportunities for things.
The story, yeah, the storytelling aspect of it is like you really get to do some cool shit if you really sit down and think about like what would be the craziest hour to give this guy like every week.
I can't imagine like sitting here in the writer's room trying to come up with like, okay, we need to block out like
Yeah.
every single second and account for like every part of this person's day.
Because you got to think just like what you can do in an hour, like really, and then be like, all right, well, it's TV, so we could add like a little bit more and try to make it compelling. But there's like, I feel like they just heaped so many different things onto him.
Yeah.
And like that crew that he had, and that the guy that was in charge or whatever that told him not to trust anybody.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, so he's definitely saying it in a way that makes me not trust him also.
Richard Walsh.
Should have said not even me.
It's definitely like, well, he's pretty suspect. I don't even know what's happening yet, but I'm like, I don't trust that guy because he keeps saying it. He's like, not even your own fucking team. And I'm like, whoa, he's telling you he's the bad guy for the season. He's telling you.
I mean, yeah, it would make sense if he put the least trusted guy on the investigation. He's like, nobody's gonna fucking tell him. He's not gonna find out.
Yeah. He's like, I need Jack Bauer fucking busy and out of my hair. How do I get him to chase his tail? That's what I would do if I was him. Like, yeah, I need you to investigate fucking an assassination. Is that what you do? Yeah. Look into that. It's crazy. It's crazy. Jack's all busy. He gets to do whatever he wants behind the scenes.
But at the same time, I feel like if it does end up being him, I'd be pissed because, like, why not like wait till like the next morning and like give yourself some time? Why call?
Well, you'll have to wait until episode 7.
Yes. It's cool what they do, honestly, with the whole season-long mystery of who's trying to kill David Palmer and why and what's going on with it and how that evolves and spirals out of control as it does. But I don't know. Was there any other interesting aspects for you guys for the show?
I mean, Soul Patch. I gotta know
Tony Almeida.
What's
going on with Soul Patch.
What crawled up his ass?
Well, he doesn't
maybe
like
he
Jack.
was asleep. It is midnight. Like maybe he was asleep.
Yeah.
Well, that, and he doesn't like Jack also.
Yeah.
Because how come he gets to fuck all the girls?
He turned in his own guy and he slept with his coworker.
How come I'm not like him?
Or how
Like
come
he's
I don't
mad
have
at
the
the
money?
things that he does, but not because he's doing them. It's just because he's not doing them.
Yeah.
Let me guess. I'm going to guess that Soul Patch is actually the most trustworthy guy in that office, but they just don't like each other. And it's just like a male, alpha male headbutting scenario.
Well, they don't like each other because Tony is currently sleeping with Nina. And
Oh,
Nina
yes.
and Jack have a history. So he
They're
doesn't
just never
like
gonna
that.
like each other. Yeah.
So that's the reason why he's being such a dickhead to Jack.
Yeah. But just
But why is he being such a dickhead to me?
Because Nina is also like, just like, let's drop everything and do something that Jack's doing.
Yeah, I mean,
Nina's
it's your
like,
job.
fine.
You work for him.
He's your fucking boss.
But
I like that it took him like literally 10 seconds to hack it too. He was just like click, 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 click. All right, I'm in. Fucking.
And I don't know why every like crime drama from this time had to have like the alt girl involved. Like the hacker girl who was like, she looked like she was 10 years too old to be looking the way she did with her pigtails.
she was out.
Representation matters, Joe.
She was out at the club. All right.
Oh, she was at the club actively when she got the call.
Yeah, that's what she said when
She was still
she
on
got
the calm
called in.
down.
Yeah, probably.
She's still bumping to ecstasy in the office.
Riding that Molly wave. She's like, I'll hack your daughter's bank account. I don't give a shit. Email what? No, okay.
I'll add a couple commas in that motherfucker.
Would you guys watch the rest of this show?
Joe first.
No. No, I'm not really interested. I'm happy that it was so successful. I know like a ton of people loved it. However many millions of people watched it every year. It's just not that interesting to me today as a person who had never seen it before. Yeah, like all the like kind of like terrorism, fear baiting kind of stuff really has died out. So
Yeah.
I don't know that I would find it that entertaining as a fresh watch today.
I'm not saying no because I didn't like it and I don't think that it would be entertaining. I don't know, one, if I really want to watch it with all those commercials, for one, because I watched it on IMDb TV and it's free, but there's commercials and they're not bad. They tell you how many you have to sit through. I don't know that I have the time. I'm not even watching stuff that like I want to watch. So putting it onto the list, but like down, you know, to like, I may never get to it, but it's always been an intention kind of a thing. So like, I'm not saying no, it's just like priority wise in terms of how I have to watch everything now. Like I haven't even started Peacemaker. Just it's difficult to shuffle stuff in as it is, and most of the time when I actually get time to watch TV, I don't want to fucking pay attention to anything. I want to just like zone out. So
Very true.
I don't want to commit to a watch of something. I feel like you have to give it the energy to put forward into it.
What about
Very
you,
true.
Jordan? Is this going to be the start of round 4?
Well, I already watched through season 1, so I'm currently in a rewatch of season 2 right now. So I'll keep the watch along going.
Keep the flame alive.
But now if we want to hear from you guys, so if anyone else wants to continue watching 24 or have never seen it before and are sold from this very episode on checking it out, it's for free on IMDb TV, like Robert
IMDb
said
TV.
before. And it's also on Hulu, according to Joe.
Yeah.
So
And
you
there's
can check it out.
plenty of streaming sites out there. It's 21 years old. It's fine to steal this show.
Yeah.
They made the money that they're going to make on it.
Yeah. So check it out. Let us know what you think. You could hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Pop Kannon. Don't forget to join our Facebook group, the Pop Kannon Collective. Search that and hit join. We'll let you in.
No, it's blood out. You can't, anyone's allowed in, but it's blood out. Like you have to get matched out to leave.
True. Robert, let the good fine folk at home know where they could find our podcast.
Well, if you're listening to us right now, you're either on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the Google Play thing, or one of the other smaller podcast platforms that I don't know all of the names of. But if you search for us on any of those podcast platforms, you will find us. Pop Kannon with a K, because we're special. Don't sue us, Kellogg's.
And if you like consuming media with your eye holes, Jordan also edits these podcasts as videos and uploads them to our YouTube channel. Find us at Pop Kannon on YouTube. Make sure to like and subscribe over there as well. Drop a comment underneath if you want to let us know what you thought. And check out some of our older episodes. They're all up there.
They are.
Yeah.
Well, all of them.
Yeah.
We have new episodes every other Wednesday, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of them, because we have a whole bunch of stuff to talk about this coming year.
2022 is gonna be fucking crazy.
I'm already so tired.
Yeah, we all are. We're all so tired. Anyway, for Pop Kannon, my name is Jordan.
I'm Robert.
I am Joe.
And we'll see you on the next one.